It's not often you find an amazing indie game, one that's very new mind you. In this video I'll be sharing my experience with this indie gem called Look Outside. This is a game I went into completely blind. A, due to the fact that it felt the best way to play it, and B, that there was simply no real extensive guides available at the time. Yep, this game isn't even 2 weeks old yet. Although I won't be discussing the story in depth by any means, I will gloss over certain gameplay elements and I highly recommend that you go in blind. Look Outside capitalizes off the unknown, kind of like Soulsborne. Half the fun is not knowing what's going to happen, who or what you're going to encounter. Please go check this game out. It was only $8 USD and it was worth every penny and then some. As always, the game's Steam page will be linked in the description. Now on with the video. Look Outside is an RPG game that could be best described as similar to a more horror-based Undertale. Now many have compared the game to Fear and Hunger, but to be very honest in my personal opinion, besides having the same bone structural gameplay, i.e. being a turn-based RPG, the two respective titles have very much their own unique vibes. The premise of Look Outside, of which I will now be referring to as LO for convenience sake, is an intriguing one to say the least. The main character, who you can name but seems to have the default handle of Sam, wakes up in their dingy apartment. Immediately we're hit with the musical atmosphere of this amazing track simply titled Safe Place. In fact, you should be hearing it now in the background. There's a hole in the wall to our left that seems to be occupied by our neighbor Sybil, who serves as a save point and as an ally to talk to and to get our mind off the chaos surrounding us. What is the chaos, you may ask? Well, we're not quite sure. You see, we're not allowed to look at the thing in any form, directly or indirectly. In doing so mutates anyone who does into grotesque eldritch beasts. Our neighbor Sybil, who strangely seems to know quite a lot about this unknown ordeal, explains to us that whatever this thing is, it's only going to be here for about 15 days, 2 weeks with some change. For our safety, we're expected to stay locked up inside our apartments. I can't begin to express how much I like this concept of the apartment. At first, the notion of staying inside was very appealing to me. My playstyle in the initial days when I didn't have much resources or friends or just general knowledge was very much reserved, very timid. I would often dedicate a block of my day to killing time through playing video games, just so I wouldn't have to leave my apartment and venture out into the unknown. Then as time went on, and as I got a hang of things, I started to spend less and less time on the console, and next thing I know I stopped playing video games entirely, spending entire days outside looting and raiding what were once the homes of my neighbors and other human beings. This progression in my playstyle felt so natural and so right. It's what most would do in a unique situation like this. At first you're able to bide your time and enjoy some peace and solitude. Then your food starts running out, your soap, your toothpaste, etc., and you come to terms with the fact that you have to leave your home. If it isn't obvious already, the apartment acts as a sort of Resident Evil type save room. In here, you're safe. You've got the dope super comforting song in the background, and if it's late enough, you can sleep, skipping time. There's also the bathroom, which leads me to my next 2 points I'd like to discuss: the dialogue and the choices. There are a lot of choices you can make, and even the smallest ones feel big and significant in their own way. Take the bathroom for example. When I realized that you could brush your teeth and shower, I made it a point to do so at the beginning of every day. Of course later on I found out that there was also in-game benefits, but I initially did it just because I wanted to make my character fresh, and thought it was a neat little feature. Now once again, freedom. You can play through the entire game and not have stepped into the bathroom once. And once again, besides some very minute gameplay changes, everything would progress normally. However, if you do choose to make this a part of your routine, the game rewards you with some amazing dialogue that makes you reflect on your actions in the game. Every time Sam goes to brush his teeth, he takes a look at himself in the mirror and does a status check. Strangely, you feel great, Sam thinks to himself. However, after a certain number of days and events, Sam has an inner moral conflict within himself, having a back and forth on whether he's a murdering thief or just someone trying to get by, doing what he does because he has to, not because he wants to. I absolutely love this interaction you have with yourself. You can egg on the voice and make yourself feel bad, or you can cope and say that whatever you're doing is out of necessity. Another aspect of the bathroom, the shower. Again, it provides you with in-game boosts, but initially I had started it just for the sake of routine. As time goes on, you quite literally start to have shower thoughts, reflecting on either the real-world events you're dealing with outside, or simply the latest game you've been playing and how you plan on continuing it soon. These interactions, of course, are highly reliant on the amazing dialogue that is present throughout the game. The dialogue is credited to Francis Coulombe and Eric Shoemaker, and my god, do they hit it out of the park. Francis in fact being the main brains behind Look Outside, and Eric blesses us with the amazing tracks seen in the game. I had a feeling of similarity with the dialogue, and I was right. These two individuals also worked on another personal favorite of mine, Katana Zero. I'd say my main gripes with this game were overall due to the fact that I played it so early in its life cycle. I only crashed out of the game once, and it never happened again. But besides that, it was more so visual, technical stuff that didn't necessarily destroy my experience, but certainly hampered with it. For example, if I had the game in full screen, which is a 4:3 resolution with black bars on the side, if I were to get an achievement or some Steam notification, it would stay there on the side tweaking out until I would exit full screen and then boot back into it. The game not remembering my settings, so having to go into full screen every single time the game would initially launch up. Another thing was the traders in game just simply not restocking their inventory, even when they would explicitly state multiple times how they'll come back with the new stuff tomorrow, but they never would. The game is in a very buggy state to say the least, but I'm not tripping too hard over it, seeing as the game literally just came out, and the devs seem to be very on it in terms of fixing up the missing loose ends. Alright, now here comes the usual section of my videos, in which I discuss a whole bunch of stuff that I enjoyed, but I don't think is necessarily enough to make it its own section, so here we are. This game is a simple turn-based RPG, and I quite enjoy that, to be honest. I'm not a big turn-based guy. It's not that I don't enjoy this stuff, I just haven't really gotten a chance to get into it. I heard some people wanted the turn-based stuff to be more intricate, but I think it was just right. It has enough depth to learn and to also get better at it, but it doesn't have a ridiculous learning curve either. The music. The music is certainly limited, but as I always say, quality over quantity. Eric Shoemaker does a wonderful job in providing a fantastic 8-bit score that has comforting tracks, tracks that put you on edge, or tracks that can just give you a laugh. The art is also fantastic. It also really adds to the unsettling vibe of everything, whether if it's a kind grandma or a disgusting tooth creature. Colombe's art hits home runs. This game is also really good for replayability, and having a sense of freedom in how you want to play. It doesn't hide this fact at all. In the aforementioned dialogue moments, whilst taking a shower or even having a bite, Sam will look back on the creatures he's defeated and ponder upon the fact, could he have avoided that? Needless to say, it got me interested. I went back only to realize I had missed out on a shit ton of content. No exaggeration, you can easily play this game at least 3 times back to back and experience new things every single time. Aw shit, it's finished. You already know. Damn, this video was supposed to come out at least a week ago, man, but life happens. Got fucking sick. Sickness kicked my ass, but here we are, guys. Man, I'm surprised if you made it to the end. I truly appreciate it, as always. Yeah, man, I mean, this game was fire. This game was really good. I hope this video somehow inspired you to check the game out. Check out the music, check out the game itself. I just hope it sends you in the right direction, man. I'm not good at these freestyle outros. Wish you guys the best as always. Much love. God bless. I'll see you guys next time.